Mets starting lineup presented by your local Honda dealers. Semien, Soto, and Bichette, three regulars at the top. Tyrone Taylor gets started in center field. Luis Torrens behind the plate. Mauricio another shot at shortstop. And Semien takes a strike from Jason Alexander. No, not that Jason Alexander. By George.
Touche.
13 starts for the Astros last year. He's going to have to try and fight his way into the rotation this year. Guy who has really made good after being a non-drafted free agent coming out of the University of Virginia back in 2015. Went to Korea, went to Taiwan, and finally got back to the big leagues with the Astros last year.
Yeah, I'll be paying special attention to the Mets offense. Want to see as best they can, and then as a team approach, Alexander he throws about 15-16% sliders, and the rest is either a fastball or changeup. So he's about 85% straight, and then there's a straight ball, changeup.
Turns one foul.
And so, like as a spring training at bat, swinging at a good ball like that up in the zone, even if you hit it foul, is exactly what I would be looking for right now on the offense.
I asked Marcus Semien about his offense and what he was looking to change from the last couple of years when his numbers have been a little depressed from his best season. He said, what I'm looking to do more than anything else is pull the ball in the air.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Take the shortcut. You know, that sings to my heart.
Well, it's a guy who once hit 45 home runs in the big leagues. He pokes that one out to right. Loperfido shading his eyes and reels it in for the first down.
I think looking at Marcus, I'd say the first thing I would want him to do, and I think he will, is really hammer left-handed pitching. I think that will really give you some confidence if you know when you go in there that you're just going to take advantage of the left-handed pitching you see, and I think that'll roll over into the righties they end up seeing.
Now Juan Soto. Juan, like many of the Mets players, will be leaving in a few days to represent his country in the World Baseball Classic. They'll be playing for the Dominican Republic. So in that regard, all the WBC players are getting more playing time early in spring than they might otherwise, trying to get themselves up to speed for that kind of competition this early in March. And that one smacked up the middle, a base hit for Soto. How many hits last year did we see him get in that exact spot with that second baseman shading over toward the hole, and he hits it between him and the bat?
Yeah, as Gary mentioned, Juan gets a changeup, stays on the ball, and shoots it up the middle. And like we were talking about, the second baseman is played in the 3-4 hole, so he's unable to get that ball that's rifled up the middle. We'll get Bo up here. He could use that hole if he wants, or try to score him from first, which as I'm talking to myself now, is one thing I just love about Bo's offensive profile. He could first to third Juan right now if he wants to through the hole, or take a shot down the line and try to score him in the left field corner.
When Bichette talks about himself as a hitter, he says, I naturally go to the opposite field. He said, I've had to learn how to turn on balls and hit them to the left center field gap. But it's one of the reasons why he's been such a good hitter with runners in scoring position throughout his career.
Yeah, and as you get runners on, there's going to be more holes that open up. I mean, as we see Juan's on first base, first baseman has to come over and hold him on. I mean, the defense has to rearrange the furniture, kind of, so to speak, when you start getting runners on base. So if you're as accurate as Bo is, there's going to be a lot more holes available to you.
Soto takes a healthy lead, doesn't go, and it's hit off the pitcher into no man's land and overrun by the third baseman Allen, and it's an infield hit for Bichette. Alexander got the worst of that, but he appears to be okay.
Yeah, Bo catches him a sinker running in on him, but not far enough, and just barrels it right back through the middle. I fancy Alexander, if he had to do it again, would get out of the way, because it might have had a chance for a double play. But defense first, try to protect yourself.
But that using the middle of the field, you know, I think about Miguel Cabrera and the way he used to approach RBI situations, always looking to use center and right center. Really the quintessential right-handed hitting RBI guy of his generation. Now Tauchman takes cutter inside for ball one. Tauchman making his first appearance of the spring. Really nice late pickup by David Stearns as a hedge in case Carson Benj is not ready to be the opening day right fielder.
Tauchman ropes one to deep right field. Back goes Loper-Fido back near the wall, and it's out of here. First at bat of the spring, Mike Tauchman. It's a 3-run homer, and the Mets are off to a fast start. Tauchman's a guy who can do a lot of things for you. You don't think of power as being his first tool.
No, but he's got some thump in there. I had a chance to play with him in Denver with the Rockies before he moved on to San Francisco, and he has been really productive since I had a chance to play with him in Denver. As we saw right there, a 3-run homer. Looked like he got a changeup in the middle of the zone and just scooped it out of here. Yeah, change of pace right in the middle. Caught it off the end of the bat just a little bit, but gets a full turn into it and got it up in the air over the right fielder. Good base runner too. I think Mike Tauchman is a good baseball player.
He's one of those guys, no matter who he's been playing for, Rockies, the Giants, the Yankees, the Cubs, he always seems to do something to beat you. High on base percentage, good base runner, as you say, pretty good outfielder. He's just a really good ball player.
Yeah. He, honestly, as you say, he reminds me of Tyrone Taylor from the other side of the plate. Like, you watch Tyrone enough, and it seems like he's doing something every game to help the team win a ball game.
So if Benj is not the opening day right fielder, there's every chance that Tauchman might be. That means that he would get the pleasure of facing Paul Skeens on opening day. By the way, speaking of the Pirates, who opened their season at Citi Field March 26th, opening day, as Torrens goes down on strikes for the second out. Congratulations to our old friend Adam Rubin, formerly of the New York Daily News and other outlets. Adam has now taken over as the director of communications for the Pirates. He's back in the game.
Yeah, I remember Adam running the beat when I was with the Mets in '09 through the early 2010s.
Gilbert Gomez, the new Mets first base coach. Whole coaching staff has turned over. Tim Leeper now the third base coach. Justin Willard is the pitching coach.
Mauricio cranks one deep to right. Loper-Fido back at the wall, and it's out of here. Ronnie Mauricio gives the Mets their second home run in this opening inning. And it's 4-0 New York.
Yeah, Mauricio gets a cutter inside, sucks his hands in to get the barrel home. And again, it's a full turn, a little bit smaller one than Tauchman, as you could see as the ball was closer to him. He pulls those hands in to barrel it, and he just leans on it.
Well, you know how much power Mauricio has. The longest home run for the Mets last year at Coors Field, about 460 feet. It's a matter of making consistent contact for Ronnie.
He's Mets offense doing Jason Alexander no favors right now in his bid to try to make a ball club.
Well, the home run ball plagued Alexander last year. He gave up 15 home runs in just 77 innings.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he has a ton of swing and miss in his arsenal. So the more contact you give up, the better chance it has of going out of the ballpark.
Well, the Mets hit 4 home runs in Tampa day before yesterday. And they've hit 2 in the opening inning today.
Been swinging at good pitches all inning, up and down the lineup.
Now Tyrone Taylor getting his second start of the spring. And he rockets one into left for a base hit. So that off-speed stuff not playing very nicely for Alexander right now.
No, the Mets offense is really doing a nice job of taking the low pitches. Here's a changeup that's down, but not down enough. It's not down, closer to the ankles where you could get a ground ball. So the higher up you leave that change of pace, the easier you have a chance of beating the infielders with it and getting into the outfield.
Now Jose Rojas, who's playing first base today. Jorge Polanco is yet to get into a game for the Mets. They're going slowly with him as he learns first base. Brett Beatty has yet to get into a game. He had a hamstring injury earlier this spring. He'll get some time at first base. Mark Vientos played first base yesterday in Dunedin. Now changeup's in for a strike, and it's 1-1. And all 3 of those guys are going to get some time there. But the project is Polanco. Nobody's talked much about Beatty's project switching to first base, where he's never played. But I think the anticipation is that Brett should be able to make that transition without too much difficulty.
Yeah, I think heading from third base to first base is an easier transition, and he's going to get the bigger glove. And as athletic as Brett is, he was really defending really well at third base by the end of the season last year. So I think the transition to first base should be fairly seamless for him.
And I think also the Mets were encouraged by how quickly he took to playing second base when they asked him to do that.
Yeah, that's not that one. I would say I think is more difficult. Couple of like turning the double play, the pivot, and then also the double play turns where you're feeding the shortstop. You're just going against the natural direction that you're used to in baseball all the time.
Well, here's Polanco getting his work in at first base. Taylor takes off, and it's popped foul by Rojas, and that'll go out of play. When you made the move to first base, what was the hardest part of that transition?
The hardest part for me was, I would say, first knowing where to play to where I could make sure that I could get to the base, on time and not be tripping over it. And then the other one was picking a ball that was at me or to my right. I didn't want to go too far and take a ball away from the second baseman, because then one of the most difficult plays is having the second baseman have to hit a moving pitcher. So it's really positioning. End up is probably the easiest way to describe it.
Now they've talked with Polanco a lot about his position on the bag, taking throws and not committing too early to stretching and things like that. Did that come more naturally?
The more reps I got, it hopefully got more natural. But there were times as you get there early where you go and stretch for something and you realize, like, oh man, I had more time. I guess that's probably the best way to describe it, is you have more time than you think. If you get to the base on time, find your fielder of where the ball's coming from, you really have a lot more time to commit to the throw, whether it's a pick or a good throw, either way.
Jason Alexander out of the game after walking Rojas to extend the inning. Astros make a pitching change. We'll be right back.